everybody, and welcome to Foundational Skills Critical Vocabulary Week 2. We don't know what day it is. I don't know what day it is. It doesn't matter. The materials that you need are a writing journal or piece of paper and a pencil and your full undivided attention. Let's get going. Our objectives for today are: I will teach you the meaning of some important vocabulary words for this week that are critical, hence critical vocabulary. And then we will look at examples of sentences using the vocabulary words. By doing this, we are using the context clue strategy example. That's how it's called. It's an example context clue strategy. And you, on the other hand, you will complete a Google slide page showing your understanding of the words that we studied today. Let's get going. First of all, let's get to know the context clues. What are context clues? So whenever you come to an unfamiliar word, you use context clues or visual clues around the unknown word, and that's going to help you understand it a little bit. And there's different types of context clues. We have word parts, examples, definition, visuals with labels, synonyms, and antonyms. And those are all great. But for today, we're going to focus on the one that is called examples, which is the one right here. Here's an example: crustaceans. Shrimp, lobster, crabs are interesting creatures. So we know that shrimp, lobsters, and crabs are crustaceans. Those are examples of the word crustaceans, and it's going to make us understand a little bit better. It's going to help us understand that word a little bit better. And here's some other examples. Context clues. While you're reading, you might see words that are not familiar. These words are in sentences around an unknown word, or context clues can be clues to its meaning. We already said that. One type of hint might be an example, which is what we're talking about today, within the same sentence of what the word means. Here's some. Birds use a variety of nesting materials such as sticks, grass, leaves, or mud. So with these examples, we know that nesting materials are materials with which birds make nests. Nesting materials. It's easier to understand it once we have some examples. Here's another one. Some types of predators roaming the savanna habitat are leopards, cheetahs, and lions. So with these examples, we know that predators may be big animals that eat other animals that hunt for prey. And you'll learn more about that in science. So those are context clues by examples. We understand these words using examples around them. Okay, so that's what this is about today. Now, let's talk about our critical vocabulary for this week. It's the vocabulary that we will be using around this week. So the first one is called irrigate, and now we have a visual context clue right here. There's you can see a field, and there's some crops there, and they are watering those crops. They're irrigating. That's how we call it. Let's see. To irrigate crops is to supply them with water through a system of pipes, sprinklers, or streams. Here's an example. Here's a sentence. Farmers in some areas must irrigate their fields in order for crops to grow. So pretty much just adding water with an instrument, right? Pipes, sprinklers, or streams. So that's irrigate. Print it in your memory. Irrigate, water. The first word that has to come to your head when you hear irrigate, sprinkle water. Next one. Inspector. I'm familiar with this one. Inspector. So you can see this lady kind of looking through the tomatoes to see if they're good or not. And she even has a table to write comments on it. So what would an inspector be? Pause the video, think about it, and come back when you have something. Okay, let's get ready. Let's see if you got it right. An inspector. So an inspector reviews or examines something carefully. So that's why she has that table with her, because she is going to examine it. Let's see an example. An inspector checked the tomatoes to make sure they were clean. See, I'm an inspector of your work sometimes because I have to check that you're doing correctly. Last week, I had an inspector to come into my house to see if there were termites in it. Luckily, there weren't. Right? So, inspector, someone, when you think about inspector, you remember the word check, like check for something. Okay, inspector. Let's go to the next one. Sorry if I'm going a little bit fast, but this has to be short. Photograph. Come on. Should I really delve deep into it? The picture is very telling. This visual context clue is very telling. Photograph. I'll just go like this and you'll know what it is. But let's look at the definition. So, if someone or something was photographed, its photo was recorded on film or as a computer file. Here's an example. Leon photographed important events for our school's yearbook. Photograph important events. Okay? So that's another one. Moving on. Oh, this one is not that easy. Prestigious. You see this kid, he's proud of what he did. He's prestigious. So, what does prestigious mean for you using just this visual context clue? Pause the video, think about it, jot it down if you need to, the definition of what you think, and let's see if you're correct. Go. All right, let's see. Let's see if you got it right. Prestigious. Something prestigious is impressive and important. Okay, so of course, Dayton ISD, the Broncos, is a prestigious institution. All right, so there you go. Prestigious is something impressive and important. Let's see. The most prestigious award in our school is Student of the Year. That's the most important, the most impressive. Student of the Year. Whenever you are named as a knight, um, you're prestigious because you earned something. All right, so pretty good. Let's move along. Auditorium. Auditorium. It's pretty telling, right? We have auditoriums in all of our campuses. You've seen it. It's next to where you eat. That's the auditorium. So look at this auditorium. Pause the video and think about a definition for auditorium. I'll wait. Yes. Okay. So let's see. An auditorium is a large room where an audience gathers for a presentation or performance. Here we go. When there is an assembly, our school uses the auditorium because it holds the most people. We have a very big one in high school. In the high school, there's a big auditorium. That's the biggest one. The other ones are the ones that we have in the classroom are in a way auditoriums. They're more like forums, but they're small auditoriums. And here's the last one. Impoverished. I'm gonna say that again. Impoverished. You can see the picture. It's not a fun word to say, right? Impoverished. And you see that people are lacking a real house. They're living in tents. So what would impoverished mean? Pause the video, come back when you have it. Jot it down. All right, let's see if you got it right. Impoverished. Pover. It has the word power in it. Impover. It sounds like something. Okay, let's see. To be impoverished is to be poor. All right, so not having enough wealth to sustain yourself. Here we go. In the 1930s, many people were impoverished and lived in tent cities like this one. If they're living in a tent, it means that they don't have a lot of money. So pretty much impoverished means being poor. All right. So that those six words are the ones that we're gonna talk about today. Impoverished, poor. Auditorium, place where you can get a lot of people in and talk about it, talk with them. Um, Prestigious, to be important. Photograph, just go like this. You know what it is. And then inspector, to check stuff, to check for things, the quality of things. And then irrigate, to just sprinkle some water in it. So those are our vocabulary words for this week. And your activity is the following. You're gonna have a presentation like a slide like this, and you have to read the instructions and complete the sentences. And the first one, for example, you might be photographed. If you, what is something that you can do to get photographed, or something that if you're doing it, people are gonna take pictures of you. I don't know. You think about it. Complete this. Turn it to your teacher as your teacher directs you to, and see you around. Bye bye, guys.